writing Java. Let's have a look at it. So we're going to create a Java program. The first thing we need to make sure we've done is we've designed and written our algorithm in pseudocode. The next thing we need, and we're going to create, is a text file, actually. And the text file is just a text file, but instead of having .txt after it, it's going to have .java. That's it. Now, this file is going to store your Java code, the Java code that you can read, that I can read. It's not the Java code that the computer reads, it's the human readable code. Then, the Java compiler is what's going to be used to compile that source code into what's known as bytecode. So the Java compiler, JAVAC. Now, for each class defined in the source code, the compiler is going to create a corresponding bytecode file, and that bytecode file will end in .class. Okay? So, and you're going, I don't quite understand what that means. It means as your programs get bigger and we do more things, you're going to have not one file, you'll have multiple files, okay? And then the compiler will compile each file, and each file gets its own .class file. There we go. Exactly what I said. Then, the Java interpreter, okay? I say known as Java because that's the command we'll run. We'll translate that bytecode and execute the machine code of the machine that it runs on. What? Basically, we'll type Java and the name of your program and it will run. That's what I'm really saying. So let's take a look at the pseudocode example I've got. You'll notice I often start with main just to say this is the main part where we're starting from. And I say message equals hello world. And now I say output hello, or I say output message. So in my code, or in my pseudocode, hello world has been popped into message. Okay, and now I say output message. So this is really going to say just print out whatever's there. And we're done. Straightforward, my pseudocode. Let's now have a look at this in Java. So import java.util.star, semicolon. Just put that at the top of all your programs. We'll cover that later. Next, we write public class, my first program. So this here, public class, you will write that for every one of your Java files, okay? Lowercase p, lowercase c. Then this thing here is the name of the class file, the name of the .java file, okay? So whatever that says there, that's what goes at the start of the .java file. No spaces, all one word, okay? And you'll learn about this. You'll see that each new word starts with an uppercase letter, and that's one of the conventions. Curly bracket. And now I say public static void main string args. This line will go for a while in every one of your files, okay? And go only for now. Just relax. Public static void main string args. Open curly bracket. And now, if you remember, I had message, so now I've got this thing, string message equals hello world semicolon. And now I go system.out.println message. Done. Close curly brackets, you'll notice they're matching and they're matching. All right, each curly bracket has a matching one. So we have just written our first Java program, and you'll see this in the live demo that I'll have afterwards. So let's take a look at the conversion from one. So here, main and end main, I'm just saying this is where I'm starting from, okay? Remember I said that one line of pseudocode doesn't map necessarily to one line of Java code. This is really good. Okay, so this has to be there. This has to be there, remembering this is the name of my program, which is also the name of my file, okay? Public class, we've got that. Public static void main. The important, I say important, the things you're going to remember is what's going down in here at this point in time. So this kind of stuff here, you're always going to have, okay? And I say always, there will be times, but I'm not going to go into it when we don't have a main, but that's for another day, another time, another place. So message is assigned hello world. That is that line of code. Output message, system.out.println message. That's the mapping, okay? We've taken our pseudocode and we've mapped that into Java code. We've translated it across. Straightforward. Now, we've said this, creating the Java file goes into a text file. And with the text file, okay, and I've said this, the Java file name must be exactly the same as the class name. Recall that? Okay. We're going to be using Vim or gvim to do our coding. We've got this lovely piece of code. This is our .java file, okay? Nice. So, this is what's stored in my file. And you'll notice here, my first program.java, that matches that Mia for Mia, okay? 100%. Capital, 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 all of that. Exactly. Not a single difference can there be between what goes there and the name of that file. If you do have a difference, you will get an error when you go to compile it. So compiling and running the Java code. Okay, so our java.java file is going to be compiled down to a bytecode file, to a class file. And we're going to do that using this command. Now, this here is just the prompt, okay? So don't be concerned about that. What we're doing is I write javac space and then the full name, myfirstprogram.java. That's the name of the file. And then I hit enter and the Java compiler is going to go about trying to compile that file, okay? If it contains errors, they'll be displayed and we don't get a bytecode file. When there are no errors, so silence is golden, all right, or the quietness is golden, we will end up with a bytecode file that was created. So what do we end up with? We'll end up with this, and that was compiled down, and we have another file in that directory. And what you will notice is my first program dot, oops, I've already tapped on to move on to the next one. So the same name, okay, it's exactly the same name, except it's now .class and we still have our .file. So when we want to execute it, what you'll notice is I now type Java and my first program. What a lot of people like to do is they then type .class. But you don't do that, okay? You leave that off and just my first program, that name, and it will run. Fantastic. Now we have the import statement. Okay, I said already Java comes with a huge, huge library of things, okay? And we've already seen them with that thing called system.out.println. That's part of one of the libraries. And these libraries make it easy to implement algorithms because we don't necessarily have to write all of the code to do all of the stuff. We can just use the code that they have provided within the libraries. Okay? You can develop your own libraries and companies do that. And then they pass those around. And the reason companies develop their own libraries is because they have specific ways they want things to be done. So they develop their own libraries. Now, understanding this import statement is important, okay? We need to know what it does because it's telling the Java compiler that libraries that it needs to find can be found in that directory path, the import.java.util.*, which means you have access, when you go to the asterisk, you have access to everything that's within that java.util library, okay? So import java dot asterisk. That's saying every single thing that is in the java.util library, bring that in and we will use it. Okay, it is possible, instead of putting that, to actually specify exactly the one you want, but we're not going to do that at this point in time. Just bring us in every single thing. That's what we're after. We're not after this or that or one specific. We want everything. Give it to us. Okay, and that's exactly what I've just said in that line. So that gives you an understanding, an introductory understanding to writing Java.